Everything for the PPP boys, man. This is how Guyana is. Everything for the PPP boys. If you drive down that Ogle bypass road now, you'll now see what I was saying from ever long. That they didn't build the road for you and me. They built it to access it for themselves. And they've given away all those lands, 30, 40, 50 acres of those lands to themselves. And they're going to be building gated communities and so that the rich can live in by themselves, away from the rest of us. Nothing for the poor people. Nothing ever for the poor people. Even the houses that they build for the poor, they sell it to the rich. Even the little 2-bedroom houses they built in Providence and in Borbies, they're selling out to their rich friends. So even what was designated for the poor isn't even going to them. Because with the PPP, it's all about money. Everything for them is money. You've seen new revelations from the opposition leader pointing out yet another property owned by Susan Rodriguez. Right? I think this is about the third one, and then the one in Florida, 4. And yet the PPP is holding on to Susan Rodriguez. And their finale said he doesn't see anything wrong and no reason to investigate Susan. Well, that job used to belong to your fund before, you know. Used to belong to your fund before. He had that job prior to becoming the president of Guyana. Prior to becoming the president of Guyana, he had that exact job, and no checks were made on him either. No checks were made on him either. It's amazing how corruption can just run rampant in Guyana. Run rampant in Guyana. And people who, prior to becoming ministers and vice presidents and presidents, who had absolutely nothing before they got those jobs, and suddenly get rich. Richer than drug dealer rich. And nothing is ever done in Guyana about corruption. You got the US Embassy suddenly finding it important to go after Azradine and his family, and yet you got outright corruption that's visible to the eye, and the US ambassador and the US Embassy here ain't saying nothing about it, but you're picking one man, one Guyanese. And yet the blatant corruption is in front of your faces and you're hugging and kissing with them. Because America is all about resources, what they can get from you, what they can take away from your country for nothing, give you nothing. The people get nothing, but they take away your resources. The way Exxon is now taking away all the oil. Exxon is taking away 86% of the oil. We're getting 14%. They're getting 86% of the oil. Right? Because they claim that there's cost oil. And then there's oil revenue that will be used to fund new projects. Glenn Lal talked about ring fencing. What is ring fencing? A lot of people hear about it, but they don't understand. Ring fencing is putting a ring around each project, around the original project. And whatever it costs to do the original project, if you want to do additional projects, then you got to come with fresh money, fresh financing. Not use the money from the first project continuously like what's happening now. Right? And you tell us, oh, we drilled 300 wells. Who was out there to see if a well was dug? Who is on the ship to qualify that indeed they did 30 drills or 100 drills? We got to take their word for it. We own that oil out there. We own the oil. It's our oil. Guyana's oil. Right? 125 miles out. But yet we don't have somebody on the ship measuring how many barrels of oil comes up every day. They claim they're at about 1.1 million barrels a day. I can guarantee you that they're pumping in excess of 2 million barrels of oil out there every single day. They're sucking it out faster than it can come up. And the word is, a Guyanese politician gets $1 on every barrel that comes up every single day. So if they're getting 1 million barrels and he gets $1 on every barrel, to keep his mouth shut. Same guy that used to be mouthing off, that he cries whenever there's a fine. When you get your fine out, yeah, I cry, you fucking lying, crying piece of fucking shit, hold you. Lying son of a fucking bitch. You don't cry because you get $1 on every barrel that pumps. And I got 1 million barrel a day is $1 million US a day he gets in his pocket. Not to cry anymore. You don't cry anymore. Stop fucking crying. You're not a cry anymore. Every time I hear you get your fine out, yeah, I cry. And I get sad for Guyana, yeah. Because you didn't get any $1 on every barrel then. You're crying then. You don't cry anymore. I hear you cry about oil in the longest while. In fact, you said you don't cry at all no more. That you're happy with the deal, nothing can be done. But when you're in opposition, you're crying then. You don't cry no more. $1 on every barrel, $1 million plus a day, US. Placed in a special account. Because Exxon is as corrupt as they come. Exxon is as corrupt as they come, that we seen them in Nigeria and every other country in the world where they've been. And they're willing to do anything to keep that oil pumping. And if there's a political opponent who can maybe put an ease on that corruption out there and pilfering and raping of our resources, maybe we should make sure that he never gets political power. Because I can guarantee you that these last elections, the PPP didn't win it. Jagdeo knows he didn't win. Irfan knows he didn't win because they have the SOPs. They know what they had to do. They know the huge number of foreigners they registered, 70-something thousand Venezuelans, Portuguese, Brazilians, Haitians, Bangladesh residents, people from India, medical arts and all the other hospitals that they got in the country, all the Cuban workers, all the Cuban people, all the Chinese, register up everybody. And they stole in excess of 80,000 votes. 80,000. I have the SOPs for win. In fact, I have the SOPs, not just for win, but for the SOPs. Because I paid a lot of money to get those SOPs. And I have at least 21,000 SOPs. At least 21,000. If you go through them, you'll see that at no time did the PPP get away. That 100,000 votes that the PPP claimed that they beat both APNO and win by, it's impossible. The PPP can never call elections now and let's see what happens. Let's call a mock elections and see what happens. Get upset with me and bring out your SOPs and let us go at a public square, maybe Coffee Square or Starbuck Market Square. You bring your SOPs, I can bring me SOPs, and then we can compare them to the SOPs from the other political parties and GCOM. And I want you to show me where you gain an excess of 100,000 votes with a dwindling support base. And that's why you didn't release the 2020 census, because you know the numbers would show that the PPP is no longer the majority in terms of having numbers. Indians more than Africans, more than mixed, more than everybody else. Because if you look through, I often post I often post a breakdown of 4 or 5 of the census that were taken. And if you look at the numbers, you will see over the years, you'll see that the Indian population diminished. You'll see that there was a massive growth of the mixed races of Guyana. You'll see a massive growth of Amerindians in Guyana. The Indians went up to Canada, they went up to the States. They went to Trinidad, they went to Suriname over the years. And the marriage rate in Indian communities has dropped tremendously. They're not marrying like before, they're not making kids like before. The average new modern young Indian family is 2 and 3 at best. That the days of 9 and 10 children are over. And that's why Jagdio had to go and find all the Venezuelans to register them up to vote in the elections. And then there's a clause in the electoral laws that states that if you are a member of the Commonwealth, in other words, any country that the British ran before getting independence, that once you work here for 6 months, you can also vote in Guyana to make a difference in our lives. And then you get back on a plane and you go your way. Guyana and the Guyanese people, and I want to talk about the Guyanese people who sit by quietly and accept what happened with 2025 without question. Your question APNU. You question GCOM and you question APNU in 2020. In fact, you got people from APNU and GCOM in front of the court to answer questions about rigging. Yet the biggest amount of rigging happened in 2025. At least Mingo, Lowenfield, and Roxanne Mears, at least they attempted to do the verification process of the SOPs, where they put it up on a board, then project it onto a screen, and the parties would either object or agree to an SOP and clear it. You add that to the tally. Why wasn't that process done in 2025? Why was there no verification of the SOPs in 2025? Because they know they couldn't verify them. So it was rammed down the throats of Guyanese. You talk about democracy, there's no democracy. If you have no elections, you have no democracy in Guyana. None. Elections is the backbone of democracy. That's where it starts. It doesn't end at elections, though. It doesn't end at elections. Democracy continues after elections. In the way you govern your country. If you use your police force to brutalize your people and to take advantage of your political opponents, like what they did to me after being attacked in UG Road by 3 PPP thugs driven by a car owned by a PPP council from Kurukuru, Andrika Ferrier. Right? You tell the police to shut down the investigation and don't investigate it. Orders given by Kwame McCoy told to the police, do nothing about this matter. Do nothing about this matter. Don't investigate this matter. When I asked the police, well, what happened with Andrika Ferrier, this guy with the alien, the Silvalian? They said, oh, the man just rent cars out and he rented out this brand new alien to somebody. And the guy doesn't come in to pay the bills. He would send some child or something with the money. And that he hasn't seen the car in 6 months. That's the excuse that Andrika Ferrier gave to the police, and that's what the police told me. And to this fucking day, Sarabo and the other guy ain't had the fucking decency to call me and say, Max, this is a case. In 2 years now, they haven't told me anything about the case. A political opponent attacked by 3 baseball wielding men on UG Road, bright daylight. And you don't tell that political opponent of the government, outspoken critic of the government, you don't say anything. And the fucking US ambassador doesn't say anything either. She doesn't say anything either. And the British High Commission, you don't say anything fucking either. They pretend it didn't fucking happen. Yet they got a lot of shit to talk when they fucking feel like talking. Got a lot of stuff to talk when they feel like talking. But it's convenient when they have to prop up their friends and allow them to do undemocratic things and things against decency and the Constitution. You cannot attack a political opponent in bright daylight and get away with it. And there's no talk. I didn't hear the Guyana police force saying nothing about the Bryan Max case when I was attacked. They haven't done any new update to me. And I want to know when. So I'm going to ask the opposition leader to bring this matter up in Parliament to ask what's happening with the Bryan Max attack case. And y'all attacked the man on UG Road. And it was covered up because Kwame McCoy had something to do with it. Because when somebody went to Kwame McCoy and said, I have information, and what happened? He was told to step down, shut it down, say nothing, go your way. Because they know what happened. They know what happened. So you have no democracy left there. If you have no elections, if the to the other political parties and you give them free airtime on the government channels, which didn't happen this time for 2025. They control NCN and Chronicle and only carried negative articles against the opposition. Positive, 98% positive for the government and everything negative against the opposition. So you have no democracy. PPP doesn't believe in democracy unless it suits them. Unless it suits them. When a court case goes against them, they abuse on the judge and the magistrate. And Alin Nandalal right now with this extradition matter is attempting to use his office to push the magistrates and the judges, push them to give a decision in favor of him. Otherwise, he's going to cuss them down and abuse them out. And you want it done quickly. The court system is never done quickly. The court system is never done in a hurry. Court is one place that is not in a hurry. Right to defend themselves. And the lawyers have the right to use whatever is needed, legally done, to defend and to have the best interests of their client. So this hurry that Nandalal is in, he's in a hurry to get this case over and done with because they want to get their political opponent out of the way. They think that if Azradine goes away, that's the end of the PPP trouble. PPP can just enjoy life after that. Ain't working, sir. Your time up. Your time up. And your people tired of you. Everybody tired of you. When people see it, Zulkafar, and they see Priya, and they see Jagdio, and they see Irfan, people want to puke and vomit. That's an impulsive reaction to seeing members of the PFP. They may smile at you because Guyanese are two-faced. They're like me. I don't talk to no PFP people when I see them. Unless I know them from years ago and they're no longer heavily involved in what this cabal, installed cabal, is doing to Guyanese. But this whole new bunch that are ministers, when I see them, I turn my face and go somewhere else. I ain't talking. I ain't going to hug up nobody. I ain't going to talk to you. Because you don't deserve it. But Guyanese, two-faced, everybody smile and put on a big show, and then the PPP know to use the propaganda tool of it. We might end up in a little patch here on this road where we might lose internet, but it'll come back on. Guyana. I don't know, every Guyanese still waiting for Jesus to return to save them. They're hoping Jesus can return to save them and to make their lives better. With 15 million US a day coming into the coffers of Guyana, nothing is given to the Guyanese people. All these roads that they're building is to give favors to their friends and family, big contracts. And you end up with a set of concussion roads. I saw Bailey, B-Man Bailey, Francis Bailey doing a video on the new Ogle bypass road, which I had done numerous videos and talked about how bumpy it was. Within a couple of days of it being opened up, how bumpy the bridges, and it's good to see other people conforming. I conforming for Bailey and Bailey conforming for me that the roads are shit roads, and that's why I just went, look, I'm going over one of them right now, bumping over, brand new road, and this is a smooth vehicle. I can imagine if it's an older vehicle. And all along is signs of friends and family. Let me hit the camera, you can see. Friends and family. Tateco. Construction inside. Not a Tateco for somebody else. 30 and 40 acres. That's for just semi-friends, but for the big friends, there's 100 acres. But construction going on inside there. Gated communities will take over here. Bumpy road. Friends and family, another 30 acre to somebody. More friends and family. And within a year, you're gonna see everything that I've been telling you come to light, because everywhere you look, you'll only see gated communities. Fancy for the rich. Fancy for the rich. Rich people getting richer thanks to the PPP. And even the little pittance they hand out to poor people, that too the rich want to take too. It's more friends and family inside it. Everything you see inside is friends and family. On both sides of the road. More friends and family construction. 30 acres, 40 acres, 50 acres. One guy told me the other day building 200 houses, which means he got to get 100 acres. He got to get 100 acres. We can go over this suspension killer. Jesus H. Christ. Who designed the thing? They continue the road here, but over there, more friends and family construction. They say, that it's friends and family. 30 acre. You can go back down the other side. Corner lot, friends and family. Poor people, they say, well, take a little 40 acres and give some poor